guys, it's Mary from Brooklyn, and today I'm going to do a video about Hero. So this is Hero. He's my beautiful 3-year-old estimated Akita. So estimated, his age is estimated, not 10 at all. And then I did a video, it's called About Roxy, and Roxy's my other dog. She is now 10. I think she was 9 in that video. And so this is Hero. These are my baby boys. And so he is really a baby and like is my baby boy. And I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love him so much. He can see me in here and he's very confused. So I decided to finally do a video about him because a lot has changed since we've got him. Like a lot has changed, and it's all good change, just crazy change. So we got him. So here, we'll start from the beginning. So he was actually found on the streets of Memphis. He was estimated about a year old when he was found. So he actually lived in the streets of Memphis for about a year when he was born. In the streets of Memphis, Tennessee, we'll clear that. And then he went to a rescue, and then they found out he had heartworms, which can be deadly if they're not treated fast enough or anything like that. But they were found and they were treated, which was awesome, like absolutely freaking amazing. And now I have a beautiful boy because of it. But I was treated for heartworms. It takes about 3 months, I think. I believe so. That sounds right. And then he went to another family in St. Louis, Missouri, and they kept him for a long time, but they just couldn't handle him and his sister. His sister was about Roxy's age. Or it wasn't actually his biological sister, but it was the other dog in the family. And they couldn't handle both dogs. They were kind of older and they had a lot of health problems. Couldn't take care of him because he's very high energy. Our 4A Akita is about an average energy, but he's a high energy. The Akitas are a high energy dog. I was very lucky with Roxy. Roxy's a low energy dog. So next, we were looking for dogs, and we kind of mentioned something one day, and I was like, oh, we can get a dog soon then, and all this. And then it just kind of progressed, and we started looking for dogs since Roxy's getting older. And really what we wanted to do is we wanted a dog to learn off of Roxy. Like, we wanted Roxy's temperament, Roxy's personality in another dog, because Roxy is an amazing, luck of the pick. She is absolutely amazing. Love her. But so we started looking and looking, and found one we kind of liked, and my mom really liked him. I found one I really liked, and they said no to him. Or no, we were kind of like looking between these two, but my mom had really fallen in love with this one. And I think his name was Nemo, I think. We're going to call him Nemo for this. And so we're only looking at Akitas, remember this? And so I started looking at breeders, and then we started looking at not only breeders, but then we stopped looking at breeders, and once I kind of like figured out, I was like, oh, right, rescue groups. So Roxy came from a rescue group called Flaw Dogs, which is near my hometown. It is in Missouri. And she came from Flaw Dogs. So kind of like I wanted to take along that path. We were really looking with a breeder that we're actually close friends with, because my mom is a vet tech and she's a client. It's a client of hers. Her name is Cindy. We're gonna call her Cindy for this. Love her. She's so sweet. She does fostering, or she doesn't foster. She's a rescue group, and we're kind of looking out for an Akita from her. Now she didn't have an Akita at the time, and we said if you get one, let us know, that kind of thing. And so we kept looking, and we found one we really liked. Like I said, Nemo. And so we called them, and we were emailing back and forth, and we were getting ready to tell, like, we were just emailing, like, just started emailing, and all of a sudden we're like, and then they're like, oh, we have this dog in St. Louis who needs a home, and the owners don't want to keep him anymore, can't keep him anymore, and he needs a home. Will you be interested in taking him? And if it works out, then keeping him. If not, then giving him to us, because we don't have a way to get him to us because we are in Tennessee. And we're like, sure, we'll take him. So I get off school that day, and we're talking about dogs, because I like look at school, because I'm like a really good student. I'm finished with my second time, like fast. And I'm like looking with one of my teachers, because one of my teachers was super involved with it. Love my teachers. Anyways, so I get off school, and I'm like, oh, I found this one that was pretty cute. I kind of liked it from this rescue group, and I told her, and she's like, well, we're gonna go pick up a dog tonight. I'm like, whoa, 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 what? So we went to go pick up him that night, and he was excited. He wasn't very hesitant to get in the car. I mean, we opened the door and immediately jumped right in. It was super sweet. We put a collar on him. and like it was fine. Like it was worked perfectly. And then we went. So it was me, my grandma, and my mom. Or yeah, me, my grandma, and my mom. We decided not to take Roxy because we didn't want to overwhelm them because we only have a small space in the backseat owning a truck. And so we went to, I forgot, we went somewhere to eat. We went to Burger King, or no, White Castle. And my mom and my grandma went inside, and I sat outside with him, and he whined and whined, was like pacing, sort of, in the little space he had, and was like looking at the windows and was whining and whining and whining, and I kept like trying to feed him treats. And because he was stressing out because they had left the car. Little did we know that he has separation anxiety. And this poor boy right here has got separation anxiety, but he's totally worth it. So we get him home and we introduce him and Roxy, and they're absolutely fine. We had no problems. There's a wonderful picture of both of them sitting in our kitchen, and they're just so sweet. And we weren't prepared for a dog at all. We didn't know we were going to get a dog that night. But we did have stuff from a dog we were taking care of for my friend, because she had to move and they couldn't take their dog with them. She was a Rottweiler. She was a bigger dog. They couldn't take dogs. They couldn't take dogs over 15 pounds. So we ended up getting her Rottweiler. Her name was Zilka, so we're going to call her Zilka for this video. And so we had kind of some of Zilka stuff, her bowls, and things like that. We had leashes for Roxy. We brought a collar from the clinic for him. It was a regular, like, cloth collar. So we just go ahead and put one of those on, and I mean, he did fine. The only thing that was kind of confusing was his owner was very anxious about making sure that I had a hold of him, had his leash on, was very anxious about that, and we never really found out why. But we did find out why later on. But yeah, I mean, we made it home. He was fine. He smelled, and he used the restroom outside, which is fine. Did amazingly. And of course, we're kind of trusty with him. We didn't know if he was a hugging dog, if he didn't want to be touched in certain places. We didn't know what he was at the time. I mean, we just picked up this dog. I mean, we didn't know much about him. So we continued staying in contact with the family because their nephew or their grandson's very worried about him. Always like read books to him and that kind of thing. So we're like going to meet them when their nephew comes into town, because her daughter and her son-in-law are going to Texas, from Missouri to Texas. Actually, from California to Missouri to Texas, because for military, and it's her son, so it's her grandson, and they're going to be in town for like 6 months or something. So we've been keeping in contact, and we're going to go meet him one day so he can see her and make sure he's okay. Which, of course, he's amazing here. He loves it. But, so we get him home, and, I mean, he's just super playful. He gets what we call the zoomies. Yes, you, mister. He's just super playful, super lovable. He's a very cuddly dog. He loves to be cuddled. I think it was like a month and a half went by, and he had a minor like bite from what we guessed was a wolf. We had no idea what it really came from. And so he had like staples. We just put in, it was like 3 staples. Wasn't much, literally nothing. It was kind of his armpit area. It was like right here, and like right here. I know. So he does like to run. He's a average energy dog. Roxy was a very low energy, so it was kind of a big difference for me because all I'd known was Roxy. She was my only dog, and I mean, he has run away, but he always comes back for like after 2 hours, and so we know he's our dog. Like, we know that. And he already knew some stuff, and I'd been working with him and all those little things, like sitting and laying and dancing and paws. And my favorite one is over. Go over. Go over. Hero, go over. Hero, go over. Over. Huh, go over. What? Go over. Go over. Good boy. Shows his belly. I know. So tiring. But, so I continued to work with him. I really wanted him to be my dog. I really wanted a younger dog, just simply because I wanted a dog to do AKC with. I really wanted to run agility with my dog. And of course I was like, I want to be the next dog, I want to run agility with them. Not thinking that they're not going to be just like Roxy, who's a perfect angel. They're not going to be just like them. And I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. So we actually right now, we are doing training because we're starting from puppy. I mean, we are the oldest dog in the class. We're the biggest dog in the class. My class is of, I think, 15, consists of 9 German Shepherds. I've done one class. My next class is tomorrow. So yeah, are you excited for class? Yay, we have class! Yay, we have class! But, get him all hyped up for class. So, I am pursuing that. And yes, he's 3, and most people say he's too old to get started, but I'm like, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do all I possibly can and try, because I really want to run junior with him. That would be amazing. I've really fallen in love with the sport, and I really, really want to do it. I know. Because I've worked ring crew for agility multiple times for my Girl Scout troop. We have another one coming up. So I've always wanted to do it with him. So we're pursuing that. I mean, we are truly pursuing that. I started with jumping, like out in our shop, like trying to show him how to jump. We skipped ahead way too much. We are starting in puppy class. We're starting with healing and then moving up. And of course she's like, oh, does anybody know how to sit on command? And a few of us raised our hands. And of course he's a very good dog. He knows his commands if he's in the right mood. He knows his commands. But I mean, I couldn't ask for a better dog, except for Roxy, but I couldn't ask for better puppies. I love them. I know. He's a good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah, so, but he hates his feet being played with, so I just played with it, and that's why he moved it. Oops, sorry, bud. He's a very hairy dog. He's a hairy breed in general, but he's got a lot of fur on him. He's just a lot of fur. More than Roxy, I think, ever had. A lot of fur. Okay, so back to the story. So then I think 3 or 4 months after we had him, this was 2 months ago? How about this, you think? 2 months? Yeah. I'll try to show you that at the end. I'm going to go ahead and move my camera at the end to kind of show you some stuff. But, he was viciously attacked by our neighbor's 2 captive wolves that are illegal. So, he had gotten out one day, and I was kind of following him. He was out, but had been out for a while. He got close in. I kind of like tried to follow him because he was moving slower because he was tired. Tried to follow him, and he went up to my neighbor's house. And usually I don't think much of it. Now they have 2 captive wolves, a male and a female, and they were running on their fence line. And he ran up his fence line, was sniffing and was peeing, and then he got up close to it, and the male tried to reach part of his neck through and grabbed his like underarm right here and was trying to pull him through the fence. And I mean, this is about to get graphic. I mean, there's blood all over the place. Just trying to rip him through that fence. Like, it's hog panel, so I mean, it's this big or something, and he was trying to pull him through that fence by holding onto his arm. And there's a lot of blood, and I was screaming. I'm crying. I'm screaming because I'm watching this go down. I mean, I'm like watching my dog be like almost killed. I thought he was dying. I thought he was dead at one point. At one point, I'm screaming bloody murder. Thank God my mom had the windows open, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to hear me. I'm screaming bloody murder. I'm screaming, hero, 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 get off, hero, 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 come here. All this stuff, trying to get him off, but I don't want to get too close because I don't want to freak out these dogs and like them pull harder. Or I'm scared of these dogs. I mean, these are vicious dogs. These are wild wolves that they captured and they have locked in a gate or a kennel that they've never been let out of. They have been in this kennel forever, and it freaks me out. They scare me. They truly do scare me. And I'm standing there. I mean, I'm like frozen in fear. I'm screaming. Finally, my mom comes running up. She thought the wolves had got me the way I was screaming. No, I'm screaming for him. Finally gets up there and she grabs a stick and she's having to beat this dog. And finally, it wouldn't let go. Finally, she stabs it in the head. Or like, I want to say stabs it in the head, but like, it takes the end of the stick and hits it over that, like hits it in the head, and it finally lets go. And he I mean, when I say he would like went limp, he would completely limp, and that's when I started like tears. I know. Yes, you. You just sneezed all over me. But they let him go, and he like collapsed for a second and got up and started like galloping almost, and it wasn't very fast. It wasn't running, wasn't walking. I think galloping would be the right word for that. And he started galloping down the hill, and so like our like area is quite large, and he got to where we park our cars. Like it's a big gravel area, and he got to like the edge of it where the grass and the gravel meet, and just collapsed. And I mean, there's blood all over, and Roxy had followed my mom and Roxy's freaking out on this too, and I mean, I'm just crying, freaking out, panicked. He collapsed immediately. I go and I like start touching him, trying to calm him down. I mean, he is my baby boy, and I'm trying to calm him down, and he's crying, sort of, not really that much, but he's like whimpering. He's losing a lot of blood. I mean, there was blood all over where he collapsed. I know you. Yes, come here. Come here. Good boys. I mean, there's all over where he collapsed. I know, all over. And my mom, thank God she was a vet tech, grabbed the rubber band out of her hair and grabbed the rubber band out of my hair. So I had a rubber band in my hair, and I'm super sensitive, like head. And I ripped that rubber band out of my hair and gave it to my mom, and she wrapped 2 rubber bands around the right part of his arm to stop the bleeding because it had hit an artery and he was just bleeding out. It looked like we had murdered somebody. There was so much blood. Come here. Go over. I know. Okay, there you go. I know. So, it was horrifying. And we immediately put him in the back of the truck. I'm screaming at Roxy to get inside. Roxy's freaking out. I mean, her like little brother has been attacked. There's blood all over the place. She can smell the blood. I mean, she's panicked. I'm screaming at her to get inside. I'm like, Roxy, get inside. Roxy, get inside. I'm screaming at her. Finally, she goes inside. My mom goes, and I'm screaming for my mom to hurry up. And I'm panicked. I'm purely panicked. And not only was I very, very worried for him, I just witnessed something completely tragic. I mean, even if I didn't know, it's scarring. It really is. And so we raced the clinic, and we have Bluetooth in our truck, and my mom called clinic, and Jackie, who's one of the neighbors, was pick it up, and she was, is Julie still there? And she's like, don't leave. And so she hung up, and Jackie thought, we ended up talking to Jackie after we got there. Jackie thought she wanted to talk to Julian, but we raced there, and immediately, I mean, he is a trooper. He sort of walked in. I mean, we had to kind of help him, but he sort of walked in. And we got inside, and we just went into the surgery room. I know there's blood still dripping. And so there's, like, blood in our back seat. My backpack was all bloody. My Chromebook from school is all bloody. The Chromebook case, I should say, was all bloody. The back seat was covered in blood. There's blood on the clinic floor that I had to scrub up. And I mean, thank God. So they couldn't close it, but she made sure the bleeding had stopped the best they could, and we kind of just kept him on meds, and we couldn't close it. It was too big of a wound, and if we closed it, it would just probably get infected. We didn't want to close it. So we put him back in a cage, and of course I'm still stressed. I cried half the way there. Finally made myself stop because I was so freaked out, and everybody's like, oh my God, what happened? Like, when we're in the clinic, and it was bad. It was really bad. I didn't think he'd survive. I truly didn't think he'd survive. Much less keep a leg, or survive. And the next morning, he hadn't waken up yet. We put him immediately under anesthesia, and we didn't have time. I didn't think I was going to make it to school the next day. I was so scarred from the experience. I didn't think I'd make it to school. So I went to school the next day, and I think I told a few people, not very many, because it was traumatic. My mom, I checked my phone constantly. I actually got in trouble for having my phone out. And I told my first hour teacher, because I was kept checking my phone. She's like, Matt's put my phone. I'm like, okay, and I continued to like sort of try to check it to see if I had gotten that he was awake, that he was okay, he had passed away, anything to that effect. And she actually yelled at me and was going to take my phone, and I told her the situation. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Her dog is her world. She's got a big poster of her dog up in her classroom. But then she's like, oh, I'm sorry, do you need counseling? And like that, counselor, and I told her no. I would like to, she's like, yeah, that's fine. And so I continued to check my phone the rest of the day, and finally I got to talk to my mom, I think third hour. I finally saw it between like either second hour or like second hour, third hour to fourth hour, around my third hour. And he was awake. He was sitting up, or not sitting up, had his head up. He was like laying in like a normal position, had his head up. So he had survived the night. And that was the scariest part. Was he gonna survive the night? And we ended up taking him home either that night or the next night. And we had a big area set up on the floor for him and my mom, and he was on fluids still. It brings up a lot of emotions to talk about this. He was on fluids, but my mom would cuddle him, like physically, like wrap her arm around him and like cuddle him. And if she would like let go, he'd like look up at her. He was very weak. He would drink some water. He kept like burping up fluid, and we didn't know what it was. And he still does it every once in a while, but it's not very much, and he kind of swallows it back, which sounds disgusting. And we were lucky it didn't get infected. Like Roxy had an open wound on her neck, and it didn't get infected. It got really, really bad infections. We didn't get it infected. We put honey on it, sterilized medical honey, and it healed it so fast. He is a trooper. We didn't know for a long time if he'd keep his arm, because I mean, you could see bone, you could see muscle. He was missing a huge chunk out of his arm, and now his arm looks really weird, muscly because of the scar tissue. But I mean, it's okay. Yeah. And so now he's in class, and we're going to class. I know. He sneezes a lot too. Yeah, it's one of your defaults, isn't it? Yeah. But there's Hero for you. He is 3 years old. He's my only boy. Come on, go over. I know. He's a very playful dog. To the point, like, when I'm running through the house with him, because I'll, like, bolt and he'll chase me. He's, like, jumped over, like, soda, like, boxes, and all this stuff, and it's hilarious. And to the point where I had to, like, jump on the couch, or, like, when I'm running out the way, I have to, like, jump on my mom's bed. Closer when we first got him, my mom left because we were told he had a separation anxiety. He would get to the trash because his automatic instinct, no matter how much food he had in his bowl, was to knock over the trash, because that's how he grew up the first year of his life. Is hunting for that food, searching for that food. So we still have problems with the trash. It's not as bad, but it is. We do have problems with it still. And he's so hairy. But yeah, that is my baby story. Beautiful baby boys. Alright, his full name is what we call him, is Hiroshima or Hiroshima McKinley. So yeah. Alright, come on, go over. We're gonna show them your wound. Okay, so here's what's left of his wound. That's all that's left. I mean, when we had this wound, it was probably from here to like back here. Like it was huge. And now it's not very much. And he's a good dog. Yes, you are. You're a good boy. And he's learning his commands. That's it. I'm sorry it's so long. Bye!